In this video, I'm going to talk about Robopack's powerful patch flow feature and patch groups. So patch flows. So patch flows is Robopack's way of keeping apps patched and up to date. And as you can see here in this example here, I've got various different apps here with different flows. But a lot of these may have the same common flow, and that's where patch groups come in. I'll come on to that in a minute, but let's just quickly take a quick look at one of these. Let's look at Google Chrome to give you an example of the patch flow. So the patch flow essentially is our way of keeping things into different waves. So we can have a nice wave system to keep applications patched in a certain order. So in this particular example here, we've got our wave 1, which is our part devices. So this application will go to them first. Then after that, after a successful rollout from wave 1, it waits 3 days and then moves on, in this example, to wave 2, which is all devices. So we have a bit of a waiting period here, which can be changed. You can amend all this. It's extremely powerful. And we want to do that because just in case the app's got any issues, we want to tackle those issues before we roll it out to everyone in the organization. Just an example. And then radar tracking is our way of keeping the apps up to date that it detects within the organization. So if it detects an old version of Chrome, essentially, or a different version of Chrome, it will keep this up to date for us using this radar tracking here. So let's just go back and look at all our applications here. If we're going to patch groups, you'll see here, I've already got one here. Let's just have a quick look at that. It's just an example. So I'm in this example here, I've got this patch group here for company portal or users, and I've got these applications which are being published to the company portal for all users. Very, very simple wave, but you just get the idea. I can keep adding to this, and of course, if I add to this, those applications will get updated on the company portal for everyone in the organization. So that's just a very simple example of a patch group. But I'm going to create a new patch group now. We'll call it developers as an example. Let's just do that, and we'll call it patch group for all devs. A couple of options here which we'll walk through very quickly. So we want to ideally pause current version, start a new one. So if a new version of the app that it's pushing out gets deployed through Robopack's infrastructure, then obviously we then pause the current deployment and then deploy the new one. And we want to keep the last 3 supersedents. That's fine. We can allow the uninstall via the company portal. Again, that's fine. You can do that. If you want to push it to the company portal, you can allow the uninstall if you want to. I will on this particular instance. Then we have a thing called a flow name. I'll come on to that in a minute. And you've got various different settings here. So for instance, we pick up the default PSADT template, but you can, if you wanted to, have a different PSADT template if you wanted to. I'm going to add a first deployment wave. A couple of things we can do here. You can create a new group. So you can let Robopack create the groups for you if you don't already have the groups. I've already got an existing group for developers. Let's just have a look at that. We just choose the tenant, put in my developers, and I've got one for devices and one for users. So I've got my devices for required. So I'll add that. And remember, you can add multiple groups into here. So that's not a problem. You can do that. And what I'll do is I'll add another group for my developers. Oops. For the users, and I'll make it available. It's just an example. But again, you can have multiple ways if you wanted to. And this is going to be the reason we're doing patch groups is because then we can have a common set of waves for multiple apps rather than doing different waves per app. Because if you've got, if you have a common set of waves and rather than doing it on 5 or 10 apps, which will take a lot longer, you create the patch group and then you do it once and then you don't have to keep repeating yourself. All you got to do is keep adding the apps in. That's the concept of the patch groups. So we've got devices and users for developers, and then I can set some parameters here if I wanted to. but I'll leave them as defaults for now. I'll enable auto radar tracking. That's fine to keep the applications patched. When you obviously it also patches the company portal as well, so we don't have to worry about any of that. It does it all for us. Right, so I think we can then save the patch group. Okay, now what we can now do is we can now start adding the apps. So I can add in, let's just choose off the database. Let's choose files, that'll be fine. So we've got developers there. We can create a flow for that. Let's create the flow for that. We can then add in another one. Let's just do green shot. That's fine. Create the flow for the green shot, and so on and so forth. So essentially, what I'm going to do now is, again, if I put any of my developers' devices in that group, obviously it's going to push it out directly to the machine, or again, any of my developers in my user group, it'll advertise on the company portal, or both. You know, again, it's extremely configurable. You can do numerous different scenarios of how, you know, there is no right or real wrong answer. It's how you want to deploy certain things in flows and groups. So I'll start with deployments. Let's do that. So, and that's, as you can see here, it's just pushing it out to Intune as we speak, and we'll just let that do its thing. Okay, and that's gone both green. Sometimes Intune takes a little bit of time for it to appear. The GUI takes a little bit of time to catch up sometimes. Let's have a quick look. Do file. Let's refresh that. Let's try the green. Okay, green shots there. That's cool. That's great. Let's just go back to file. And files is there. Great. Okay, so there's the application. Have a quick look. Properties on the app. And as you can see here, it's got my developers devices group and my developers users group. So again, I can then add, obviously, I can then go off and put the right devices in the group, put the users in the group, etc. If I look at green shot, same principle applies. Look at this, and I can look at my developers and devices and users. So again, and I can go back into here and I can add more apps. So it's a fantastic way of grouping a common set of applications and waves to a particular set of groups. Yeah, that's it. I hope that's found useful. Really quick whistle-stop tour of patch flows and patch groups. Extremely powerful. Hopefully you found that really useful. And if you'd like me to cover anything else, just leave a comment down below, and speak soon. Thank you.